Alright, how is everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the UFC IPO. So it is now public. I didn't even expect this to come out. I don't even know if they announced it for the specific date. But anyway, it is public now, called Endeavor Group. So basically, they're the owners of UFC. And then I believe it's called Miss Universe, which I don't watch that much. But I am a pretty big fan of the UFC, or at least recently I've been watching it quite a bit. So this IPO is definitely quite interesting to me. Now, I made a video, I would say maybe a month back, talking about this IPO, how it's looking, but now it's actually public. It's trading at 24 bucks. I mean, it was trading at 28, 29, and then it dipped all the way down to 23. So who knows? It's pretty volatile. I think this is one of the worst days maybe to go public, because the S&P is just basically, the S&P opened positive and it crashed like over a whole percent, which is kind of crazy for just the whole index. But we're going to be talking about what am I doing personally, am I buying this IPO or not, and basically going through the financials and stuff really quickly and showing you how everything's doing this and that. So right before we jump into it, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to do 1,000 subscribers. I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can help me out and just drop a sub on this channel, that would be really appreciated and it'll mean a lot. So let's just jump straight into it. So, we guys know that supposedly Elon Musk is in this board of directors. So we got Elon in the board of directors according to the articles that came out. I mean, even according to their physical filing, S1. I haven't found any other information after the S1. So, I mean, if you search in this document, you go Elon Musk, and then right here, board of directors, they're age 49, director nominee. So there you go, that's that. Now we're gonna be looking at the revenues and stuff. I have it pulled up right here. Basically, but basically, actually we can just go Yahoo Finance for this. So basically, they made 3.4 billion in revenues year to date, and at 24 bucks, I would believe this is about a 10 or so billion-dollar valuation. They don't have the market cap listed quite yet. Don't look at Robinhood's market cap at 500 million. That's no way correct. Please don't look at that. Robinhood gives a lot of false info. But according to the shares outstanding at 24 bucks, it should be around 10 billion dollars. Now, a company that's doing about 3.4, I mean, they're not profitable, so you can really look at it at a 4P, even a P ratio, because they don't make any money, man. The UFC doesn't make any money. So first, what do they own? They own Miss Universe, and they own the UFC, obviously. Their YouTube channel has over 12 million subs. They have 4 billion views, which is pretty crazy. So they're not that small at all. And then I believe they also own 25% of Leap Gaming, which, man, I don't think this is that big. I don't even think it has anything to contribute to their business. But I mean, it does have, I guess they have like gambling, online slot machines. So they own 25% of that, which is kind of interesting. Now, one thing to note is I looked into Miss Universe. I know almost nothing about it, but their ratings in 2019 fell 18%, all-time low. So that is not a good sign for this part of the business. I mean, you guys know no one watches TV anymore. So they fell 18% in TV rankings in 2019. And then I believe in 2020 it was canceled. I could be wrong. I don't know much about it. But I think in 2020 it was canceled. So that's not good. So it's not a good look for this side of the business. Hopefully they could rebound. But I don't see people going and all of a sudden watching TV again. So they're going to have to switch things up in that part of the business. But I would probably say UFC is the main part of their business here. So, yeah, let's look at basically, if we look at the S1 or even just the financials here, look at the balance sheet. This is something very interesting to look at. If I can even pull this up right here, basically, they have over $1 billion in cash, which is something very interesting to look at. Okay, this S1 is not liking me today, but basically they have, if you look at the balance sheet, they have over $1 billion in cash. I like this because they're pretty good. They went from 700 million in cash, and now they have over $1 billion in cash, which is pretty nice. And like I said, they have about 10 billion in assets, but their debt is pretty damn high. I mean, they're not gonna go, like, you're not gonna see the UFC go bankrupt, right? The UFC is just too big to go bankrupt. So we have 6.4 billion in debt. Now that is pretty high, man. Their net debt is 4.9 if you subtract the cash they have. I mean, their assets are a lot bigger than their debt, so that's good, but it's just kind of too much for me to look at. They issued a ton of shares, man. So they went from issuing I don't know if this is correct. No, yeah, I don't think this is that correct because they went IPO, and I could imagine they issued more shares at IPO. So I don't really know if the shares issued, I would really trust that. Now, if we just look at in general, if we look at the financials, man, they are not making a profit. So I wouldn't really. I usually stay away from companies that make no money. But if the companies are like, if I can see them making money or going profitable in the foreseeable future, then I have no problem with that. I did that with Tesla. They were not making any money. Now they started making money, and you guys saw what happened to the stock price. A lot of other companies, same with that. I believe, like Tattoo Chef's a company I have that's basically the same. So, cost of, I believe the margins are pretty good for this company, but just bottom line, they're not able to make any money. So I could see the UFC though making a profit, man, especially since if they get more people on now. One thing interesting is even in 2020 with the pandemic, they still did pretty well. Like they didn't do that bad. So I think once more people come into stadiums and stuff, they might make some more money there. One thing is also interesting is if we look at like sports teams in general aren't really worth, like, you don't say the NBA is worth this much, the NHL is worth this much. You usually look at team by team basis. So like if you look at like NBA teams, like the Knicks 5 billion, and then you can see how much each team is worth. But with the UFC, you just have like a collective of the whole, basically the facilitator of these fights. Obviously, I like Dana White and what he does. I think Dana White's a really smart guy, where he basically pays people bonuses for knockouts and gives incentives that a lot of sports don't have. Like let's say even freaking hockey, for example, if you, let's say you win by 5 points, or you win by making a fight, let's say you throw a fight, you're not going to get a bonus for that. You're just fighting for the sake of fighting, I guess, for entertainment. But UFC purposely will give people bonuses for doing specific knockouts, or if they win a certain way. If they win in general, they get bonuses, which I think is a very good incentive, because if you get paid just to show up to a fight, then you're not going to be that like motivated to fight. I mean, I think you can see that with boxing. Boxing has not really been that popular lately in terms of viewership, because a lot of people just show up to the fights just to show up and get paid, and then they go home. They don't really have that incentive. But the UFC is really good at doing that. I think Dana White is really smart there. But looking past that, I just don't really see. I mean, one, I don't usually buy IPOs because I like to wait at least a few months to see where the stock kind of slows down and like finds its place. Let's look at some recent IPOs. I mean, Coinbase just went IPOs, okay, one of the biggest IPOs. Look at this. It's down massively. If people bought at IPO, even if you bought the day after you waited, it's still not looking good. So that's why I usually like waiting a few months. I mean, let's look at Spotify. They IPO'd via direct listing, and they IPO'd. It went all the way down to from 160 to 100. So, and then it slowed down, and then maybe if you waited a few months, you could have actually seen where the stock was good at, and then maybe bought it there. So that's why I like usually waiting for IPOs to see where they simmer down at and where they actually find their place. So that's one. Two, maybe I'm gonna wait for the next quarter earnings, which should maybe come out within the next month or two, I would assume, for a now public company. Maybe even 3 months before they release their public company, like public report. See what they do in quarter one of this year. Just pretty interesting. But yeah, I guess that. So I'm personally not buying it here today. Maybe I'm gonna wait one more quarter to see what they release in their earnings. But if you really like the UFC, you really think they're gonna be a lot bigger in the future, by all means, go for it, man. You can buy the stock here today. I mean, it's down from its highs, right? Can I go back? I mean, it's from 28, it went back down to 24. If you can get this under 24, I mean, that's, I guess, not bad if you have to buy the stock here today. Where is it? So yeah, I mean, that's that. $10 billion is a lot of money, but it's not like you're not paying 20, 50, 100 billion. So who knows? UFC might become a giant in the future. Can become a $50 billion company in the future if they continue just growing in general. I mean, let's say they get 3.4 billion. At their height last year, they went from 3.6 to 4.5. Their pandemic has slowed them down, but they're still quite as good as 2018. So 2020, at 3.5. Let's say they get to back to 2019 this year, 4.5, and then next year they go to 6 billion, and then they're able to basically raise their profit margins, and then they make a 3 billion profit, and then their bottom lines, like, let's say 100, 200 million. That would be a very good sign. So if we can slowly see them making a profit, that's going to be a very good sign, because it actually proves that this business can succeed and make money at the bottom line. So this is definitely an interesting one to watch. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can help me reach that goal, just click the sub button. That'll be amazing. And I'll see you on the next video.